Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
We had till April the 7th to get our shit together, and then that Friday millions of fans were let down with the announcement that the album itself was coming out on the 14th. Well, now it's the 14th, and Kendrick's new album is taking over the internet. This video is my crack at trying to figure out what the album is all about. This is all speculation and analysis, of course, so if you hear anything you don't agree with, make sure to let me know and provide your own point of view in the comments. Here's my take. The album is, in chronological order, what Kendrick believes is the formation of a person's conscience and humanity over time. Blood represents the start of life in two ways. Your blood or your family is who begins your life, giving birth to you and taking care of you. In another interpretation, your literal blood keeps you alive, keeps your heart beating, and it gives you your life energy. The song itself represents the beginning of life. When you're born, you're either going to die or survive, and you're either going to be one of the weak or one of the wicked, implying that there's no in-between, and you need to be wicked to survive. Next comes DNA. DNA is what decides what kind of person you'll be. It codes for your traits. Kendrick compares DNA to his circumstances and the kind of lifestyle he's confined to because of said circumstances. It's all decided from birth and he can't do anything about it. He was born to kill because of his environment. He was born to become a star because of his natural talent. He thus proposes that circumstance is just as binding and influential to a person's life as their DNA, and they can't change it or break out of it. Everything a person does is something they were born to do. The next song is called Yeah. The phonetic sound yeah is one of the most basic sounds and expressions of human history. It's simple, anachronistic, and it's been used forever, and it's always been understood universally. Because of that, this song is about basic expression and understanding the world around him. It's about the way people express themselves and the way he sees others' expressions. Yah can also be short for Yahweh, a way of saying God in Hebrew. And because religion is the way many come to first understand the world and express themselves, Kendrick uses the many religious mentioned in the song to highlight the basic communication-based nature of religion. To wrap it up, he also makes the point that religion conflicts with his natural perceptions of the world. What's established next in his life is his element. That's what makes him different, in contrast to his DNA, which is what made him the same and placed him in a group. His element is what is in him that gives him an edge. Among these is his dedication, and nobody can shake him out of this element. The next song, Feel, is very easy to decipher. Established next in his life are the things that his journey has made him feel, the emotional roller coaster contrasted with his success as stated in Element. All of his worries are revealed here, and he's being open and real here. It also allows him to connect with others, but allows him to separate from others, and you can see the direct relationship between his experience as caused by his element and what he feels as a result. As you feel, as I said, it causes you to connect with people. As you form those connections, you realize you need to rely on others, and you can't rely on others unless they're loyal to you and won't hurt you or betray you. Loyalty is mutual. Trust between people must be established for real connection, and in relying on others, helping them back you up, you could feel more confident than ever before. He and Rihanna go back and forth and sometimes even sing in unison, basically bragging, showing that a connection between two people can allow them to back each other up and strengthen each other. That confidence can evolve into pride. The song with that name battles the question of accepting and raising yourself up despite imperfection. The chorus and refrain imply that Kendrick is looking at his life in hindsight after a life of pride. In ignoring his imperfections, he didn't display his whole true self. It wasn't all to share, and all to display to the world, a perfect form of himself, which he can be proud of. By the end is the realization that it's best to be humble and accept both your strengths and your weaknesses. It provides a perfect transition into the next song, Humble. This song was released early and fits a lot better in place now that the full album is out. What's interesting is the shift. Humble seems to be the song where Kendrick is acting more proud and arrogant. Whether you watch the video or stream the song, the intro gives reference to two earlier songs. The stream intro dismisses the argument in Blood, and claims that when someone is either wicked or weak, he's still above them and can't be moved. The streaming intro references Feel and puts himself above his feelings by taking back his request for prayer, implying that he doesn't need it. Pride is instead the song that is more humble. The shift in the title shows that it's a lot easier to recognize pride or humility when you're observing it from the outside and are subject to it. And when you're either proud or humble, you don't really acknowledge it yourself. The song Lust really paints the picture of the uncontrollable pure feeling and instant gratification in sex and describes the hollow and shallow life of a person who gives into his lusts, and that kind of person's relationship to the rest of the world. The repetitive motive and the wording might also signal that Kendrick is calling this kind of life repetitive and not really going anywhere, just lost in a trance. It's not just about sex, but also lust for the materialistic things in life and for fame. The song Love provides an immediate contrast, revealing a more lasting and fulfilling feeling that is going somewhere. It describes love as being unconditional. There's variety in the sound in the song, contrasting the repetitiveness of the last. Still, he paints love as a channeling of lust rather than just being complete opposites. XXX is a bit harder to decipher from the name, but it follows the sequence of a person's formation by establishing a real understanding and connection to religion and politics, and connecting them straight to one's life. He describes how close to home politics is, and how real some issues are. He highlights the disadvantage African Americans have, and how the country and media try to decide the identity of people, including Kendrick, for them, by painting them in certain negative lights. He opens with, "Throw a stake off the yacht to a pool of sharks and he'll take it," meaning that African Americans are put in disadvantage, and when they try to grasp at any opportunity to make it out, they are punished for it. These realizations can help break one out of, or at least break a window through the circumstantial trap they are placed in, described in the previous track, DNA. Alex Johnson 150 brings up this great observation in Genius, where he states that the ending line, "You close your eyes to look around," which is cut off short, is not only an oxymoron representing looking into your own mind, but it is cut off by the next song, Fear. This represents people thinking and looking for answers, but being cut off by their own fears. So that brings us nicely to the next song, Fear. Once a person has realized what their place in the world is like, through their study of politics and religion, they understand how the world really works, and, in Kendrick's model, begin to have fears about their place and powers in the world far greater than them that have caused their realities. It has a similar socially conscious nervous vibe found in his 2015 album To Pimp a Butterfly. The intro, which is about shuddering and hopelessness in times of struggle, is reversed right after it plays. In my interpretation, Kendrick is making clear the endlessness of these situations. They are never done, just like a tape. They rewind and then start again. The first verse shows the fear of being had by children for breaking certain rules and doing certain things. It's showing how a sense of fear of falling out of line established and beat into children at a young age directly leads to the fear shown at an older age later in the same song. The interesting difference is, as a child, the fears are instilled in you by others. When you grow older, these fears are so deeply ingrained in you that you start imposing them on yourself. And that's exactly what we see with the second person to first person shift we see from verse 1 to verse 2, a first person perspective kept for the rest of the song, as Kendrick continues to state his fears that range in importance and subject matter, but all stem from that same sense of fear already being into him. It's after one realizes the truths about the world, when they start to apply that fear to these truths. Before success, Kendrick is controlled by his fear of death because of his skin color and circumstance. He can't even enjoy his success when he gets it because of the stress and fear of losing it, and the fear of everyone new around him that he doesn't know if he could trust. And finally, his exploration of the foundation of man ends and he goes in a different direction. He turns away from his fears with the song God, where he prides himself in his own achievements again, comparing the feelings of his own success, although plagued by fear as we've just seen, to the way that God feels, being on top of everything. And then finally, the last song, Duckworth. It tells the story of how Anthony Tiffith, who would later sign Kendrick to his record label Top Dog Entertainment, almost killed Kendrick's father, Ducky. It starts out wrapping up the message that it's his own feeling hurting him the most, stating that it's himself against himself rather than himself against the world. He highlights in Tiffith's story how one small decision can completely change the future of many people involved and completely change the course of many people's lives. Then, it ends with the reversed audio clip from Bloods, wrapping up his story and ending the album, as if rewinding his life and readying to start it up again.